It's day 3. It's Thursday of E3. And yeah, the ugly background is behind me again because oh my god, I am so tired. Any moment I'm going to take a chance to sit today, I'm going to do. But video for today, unless there's more Doritos. I wanted to talk today about this issue I was hoping was going to go away, but isn't going away. And so I thought I was going to address it. This idea that some people in the press are trying to link the violence that happened in Orlando with E3 and video games. And for people who have played games, it's like, ugh, but let's go through it. The people writing these stories seem to know in a sub process that there is no direct link between violence and video games, and so they try to find secondary links, right? So they say it causes aggression, and anyone who's an adult and some children know that aggression is not violence. You can be aggressive in that you aggressively chase what you want and not actually physically harm anybody. They're not the same thing. And to me, that is a deliberate attempt to confuse the issue, conflating aggression with violence. They're not the same thing, and aggression is a survival trait, especially here. You have to be somewhat aggressive to get where you need to go. You need to get in there, you need to push to the front of the lines, you need to, speak up and use your words and act like you're supposed to be there. Act like you belong there. And that is not the same as punching someone in the face to get ahead. And this is something that I've been thinking about more than I should because it's distracting. And this is the problem with this violence thing coming up at a trade show that is the one opportunity all year that the smaller companies have to be seen by some bigger voices, by some influencers. Like me, strangely, this is a thing I have to get my head around. There's this great game called Floor Plan in Indiecade. There's this game, it's a VR game that takes place entirely in an elevator, but it's this cool little puzzler, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's too bad it's only on Gear VR and Oculus Rift because I don't use Samsung phones and I don't have an Oculus, so I begged the guy to get it on Morpheus or HTC Vive. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I tried. Because Oculus makes me sick. I've determined the Oculus Rift just makes me ill. No other VR headset does it. Just the Oculus. There's a game called Clapper that is an iPad game where it uses the camera, where you use the shadow of clapping hands, a 2-player game, to sort of squish these bubbles on the screen. Really cool. And then, there are all these little indie games going on that need attention. This cool little board game I discovered yesterday because the women who made it, who are at Indiecade, sent me a tweet. And I thought if somebody's, personally asking me to come and view their stuff, I'm going to do it because it's personal attention. And it was really great. The puzzle designs were fabulous. It's it's designed for, those dinner party group activity things. It's like an escape room you can do at home. Really cool. And these are the sorts of things we should be talking about, not this same old tide story about video games causing violence. I'll say it for the record, watching or pressing buttons to make Gorilla Grodd punch Batman through a wall into a plane does not make people want to be a monkey, right? It's like there's all these variables in games, like stopping global catastrophes or stopping bad aliens from destroying Earth. People never focus on those positive influences. They just, the violence, think of the children. Strangely, violence predated video games. But there's more to it, as I learned yesterday. There is more to it, and this is the reason I'm making this video instead of waiting and doing it last week. I had the absolute pleasure of hanging out for a bit at the Operation Supply Drop booth yesterday. And Operation Supply Drop is a charity that has veterans. The guys are all they've seen military service, like they were actually actively deployed. A lot of military police, some combat medics, folks like that, as well as front lines, armed services. And that's how I'm from Canada. You say armed services instead of armed forces. But they basically get consoles and send them to people who are deployed and people struggling with PTSD back home. And one of the things that we talked about, because you guys know I've done a lot of writing and talking about PTSD. One of the things they talked about is that PTSD, they're finding out more and more for veterans, is a reintegration issue. It's that all the rhythms of life change when you're over there versus here. And people are not necessarily kind about military service. There's a lack of understanding of what it's like to be over there. And so not only, it's possible that not only is this constant pearl clutching about violence in video games, all this virtue signaling annoying, it can also be adding to the damage that these very brave people are experiencing. They manage to survive a war zone, literally, and then they come back here and they're treated like they have the plague. And this is something we can all do to assist people. It's not, it's not even helping them. It's respecting what they did. It's respecting the sacrifice, not just the people who lost their lives or limbs or portions of their skin, but the psychological sacrifice that someone has to undergo to keep the rest of us safe and free. And that's not just propaganda, that's the damn truth. The fact that we are able to argue about the effect of violent video games is thanks to the people who go out and brave horrible real-world violence in hell-on-earth parts of the world so that we can fight about this dumb crap. Now, if fighting about this dumb crap is actually making it harder for men and women like this to reintegrate, we got to stop fighting about this particular dumb crap. And I think that's all there really is to say on this issue, other than check out Operation Supply Drop. Cool guys. Like, what? Cool guys. I actually went over because I met up with Trisha Hirschberger, another YouTuber, another internet personality. You guys may have seen the cosplay collaboration we did together. Trisha's great. But she said, you want to go over to Operation Supply Drop? Yes. And it turned out I knew a guy there from the controversy that shall not be named during E3. But really great, like really, really great experience. Super cool. And now I gotta go destroy my feet again and eat more food accompanied by French fries. I never want to see another French fry as long as I live. Oh, update on the Doritos thing. About 15 minutes after I ate those Doritos for science, I started to feel very, not pleasant and kind of dizzy. And I think it was the MSG. I should not have eaten those Doritos.